This is a test review for Module 7, Part 2 and Part 4. We've actually combined this into just one section of the test, basically because it is very, very similar. So let's take a look at factors, zeros, roots, and solutions. So on this question here, match each function with its solution set. So the first thing I would definitely recommend doing is moving these around and putting them in kind of a similar order. So let's get all our questions on one side, and then let's get all our answers on the other side. So there's 7 questions, and there's 7 answers here as well. Now, one thing I do know is that the ones that start with x squared are going to give me just whole numbers. So that's something I'm going to use to my advantage here, and I'm going to do these 2 questions first. So it says use the quest slides on the other page, so let's go back then. So the first question is x squared minus x minus 12, and then we can go ahead and look for our roots, -3 and 4. And then we can go ahead and we can put those 2 together then. So there we go, those 2 go together. Next one, x squared, and notice I'm saying x even though it says n, so if I type it in, I'm going to type in x. So x squared minus 10x equals -12. And there we go. 1.394 and 8 points. Ooh, they're not very nice numbers. Did I actually copy this one down correctly? -21. Whoops. Let me go quickly change that. So that does actually show you, if you do mistype, you are likely to get a totally wrong answer. So just make sure you're being careful with that. So 3 and 7. And I think I saw 3 and 7. There we go. So there's 2 done already. All right, next one. 5x squared minus 3x minus 2 equals 0. So 5x squared minus 3x minus 2 equals 0. And one of the answers is 1, and the other answer is -0.4. So I think this one asks for fractions. So if you type in the decimal, it will actually change it for you. So I'm looking for, this was -2/5, and this one is 1. Here we go. And we got that one done as well. And I'll just move that over here once I've got it done. All right, next one, 6x squared plus 11x minus 36. 6x squared plus 11x minus 36. And there was another part to this question as well. I think it said equals -4x. Yeah, I think it equals -4x. So let me type that in as well. And then we can look for the questions. So there's -4 and 1.5. So if you're not sure what 1.5 is, go ahead, type it in, and it'll do the fraction to decimal for you. So -4 and 3/2 is what we're looking for this one. -4 and 3/2. And I think at this point you could probably go ahead and try some of the other ones. This one might prove slightly problematic. I think this is this one here, so I'm going to go ahead and do this one. 6x squared minus 13x equals 15. So 6x squared minus 13x equals 15. Let me just check that's correct. Yep, that is good. And if I click on these 2 here, now on here it says -0.833. That's one of those special ones that's repeating. So actually it's not really 833, it's really 8333333. Keep going again until that fraction reappears. And then now you can see that it's -5/6. So that's one we haven't seen before, which is why, of course, we do the reviews just to check. So -5/6 and 3. And then we should be able to select that one as well. There we go. And there's only 2 left, so I'm not going to do the last one, otherwise that would give the last one to you as well. You can check your matches as you're going along. I have more than half correct. I know that I missed a couple out right at the end there. Polynomial has functions -9 and 5. Which of the following could be the polynomial? Now, probably importantly on that last one, where it said factors, what I was doing was I was deliberately doing, when it said just the answers, I just wrote down whatever it said, whatever those x-intercepts are. This one, though, I'm looking for factors because I can see the parentheses on here. So I know that I'm doing opposites for these questions. So where it says -9, I know I'm doing +9. Where it says +5, I know I'm doing -5. So I can go ahead and click my answer for that one. 1/3. So the opposite would be -1/3. And then bottom numbers, remember, move in front of the x. So I'd be looking for this one. Instead of 1, -1. And then 3x at the start. So 3x minus 1, I think it has to be this one. Let's just check as well, though. So instead of 5/2, I would do -5/2. But that 2 would scoot to the front. That looks pretty good. There we go. And if you're not sure, you could always type this into Desmos and just check, do you actually get these answers? And if not, you could obviously pick a different answer. Okay, let's see what we got here. This one's already drawn for us. Graph the solutions. So if on a test, sometimes you'll just be asked literally to go ahead and draw exactly what you see here. So this scale here looks like 3 and -1. So as I'm typing, I'm going to do the opposite of those. So instead of -3, I'm going to do +3. And instead of +3, I'm going to do -3. I apologize. And instead of -1, I am going to do +1. And it doesn't matter which way round you write them down. If you did the opposite and -1 first, that would also work equally well. Same idea for this one. I can see it goes through 5. And I can also see that it goes through -5 and 4. So do opposites. Instead of -5, I'm going to put +5. Instead of 4, I'm going to put -4. And actually for this question, that wouldn't actually quite work. If you was to check the answer for this one, it says that that's correct, but technically there is another factor here as well, which they've missed out. There is a GCF for this one as well. You would actually need 1/5 at the start here. X times x is x squared, but this question says 1/5 x squared. So technically there should be a fifth there, but we'll ignore that part for right now. Use this for the left-hand side of slide 16. Well, let's just go take a look at slide 16. Identify each function that has an x-intercept of -2. So we got the first 3 typed in, and then there's 3 additional ones. So we'll just look at the first 3, and then you can try the other ones. I'm going to go ahead and switch each of these off so we can look one at a time. So does this have an x-intercept of -2? No, it has an x-intercept of 2. I'm not doing the opposite because it's not talking about factors in this question. It's only talking about intercepts. Let's switch that one off. Let's have a look at this one. Yes, this definitely goes through -2. That's pretty obvious. And for the last one, no, this one goes through -2, but on the y-axis, not the x-axis. So as I move to slide 16 then, I would certainly select this one, and you would have to check these 3. You have to get all 6 correct, as in yes or no, to actually get the point on those questions. So that can be a little bit difficult. Slide 17. Which of these have 2 zeros? So we got the first 3 already drawn. So by zeros, we're just talking about those intercepts. And you can see on this one, there's clearly just one intercept. It goes through 10, and then it keeps on going. You can zoom out if necessary, but you can see that that's just 1. If we look at the second one, well, actually, this doesn't go through the x-axis at all. This will be one of those examples of no real solutions that we talked about earlier. But yeah, no, this one does not count either. And the last one, yeah, it goes through at -2, and also it goes through at +2. But the question is just how many does it have? Which one has exactly 2 zeros? Certainly that third one. And you would also have to do the same for these, there's the third one. You would also have to check for these last 3 as well by just typing in the equations. And that's it. That's the second and the fourth part of the test, which is going to be combined. There's also a video for part 3 of the test that you can find somewhere else too.